Hi guys, gonna look all untidy this morning. Look at me, Can't dress myself up anymore. Hey, hello, good morning. I feel great. I've only had 4 hours sleep because I've been working on the Palo Santo sticks, and yeah, what a beautiful work experience. Feeling great, on top of the world, burning it already here. There you go, look. Oh, I burnt it last night when I went to bed, all around my body and all in the room, and I slept really well for 4 hours. Obviously, because of the jet lag, I'm like up and at like 6 o'clock, I think I was up, and then cracked on with the work. So, what have I got in my hand? 80% dark chocolate. There you go, 80% dark chocolate. Don't even know what we're going to talk about today, but I'm here because I love you, and I wanted to share a coffee with you. This is fresh coffee, fair trade coffee, fair trade chocolate from the Mijas Monkey Factory, the Happy Laboratory. Jason was clever enough to go to a special event of chocolate, and he overheard one guy talking about the slave trade of chocolate. So he was so impressed by that. He now only buys from places where it's fair trade and they get paid a fair amount of money. Well, when we say fair, not brilliant, but better than a few cents a day. So what's today about? Well, I don't know. I don't know what today, but ooh, chocolate. Yummy. So I'm walking on the street and my next door neighbour stops me. She's a lovely lady. And she said, "Oh, are you back now?" I said, yeah, I'm back now. She said in Spanish, I'll say it in English. I'll translate. "Oh, that's good. She says, "So what's going on next door?" And I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, I heard lots of noise last night, like somebody was doing something." I said, "No, I was really quiet. I was meditating with my Palo Santo and doing my energy work." She said, No, maybe about 6 o'clock. And I says, "Oh, well, I've got a fold-up bed here, which I sleep on, so I may have folded the bed up. That's what it is." She said it was quite loud. I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry." I said, she said, do you ever hear anything that, next door from me?" I said, "No, only when you have sex." I said, "But don't worry, it's only once a year." I think that was the best comeback line I've ever had. I've never seen anybody run as fast in my life. I don't think she'll ever talk to me about that again. And as she's running, I said, "Don't worry, it only lasts for a minute." Okay, guys, what we're going to talk about today. Stop being silly, let's be serious. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Let's think of something else. Okay, how about let's talk about the power of knowledge. I like talking about the power of knowledge because it's something that I've seen in the spiritual world, which is so in your face, it's untrue. And there's two types of people who, once they have digested and received knowledge, what they do with that knowledge. And I'll give you a for instance. There's been many occasions when I first started this spiritual journey where spiritual teachers, or so they believe they are, teach in a certain way where they ridicule you, or they kind of smirk, or they are so in awe in their self-absorbed power of knowledge because they know something you don't know, that they come across as intimidating, which they normally are in that segment of so-called spiritual guides, and they can't help themselves. You see, there is a saying, isn't there? Spider-Man said it: with great power or great knowledge comes, you have to be really careful. You've got to be really careful. You've got to. Your humbleness should come out, and the way you perceive life, the way you share your information should be in as far as I'm concerned, in a loving and humble and kind manner. And the reason why is because it makes me laugh. I remember confronting one lady about this before, which really upset me. I said to her, "Every time I ask you a question, you make me feel like I'm this big. And I said, you've got a real gift at doing that. And I said, do you realize you're doing it? And she was shocked. I got up and walked out of her class, and I said, you know what? I'm going to find somebody who speaks to me when I ask a question in a loving way, and they help me not feel stupid, because you making me feel stupid, really, as if I'm thick. And I said, and just so you know, where did your information, where did your knowledge come from? And I ask you this question: when you were getting this information and this knowledge, did people speak to you in the same way, or were they loving and kind and caring? You see, for me, I think when somebody comes to me, because somebody who I love very much now says there's no such thing as a stupid question, only stupid answers. And I kind of relate to that quite a lot, because you know, if I don't know something, and let me tell you, not so long ago, I didn't even know why the moon shone. I had no idea. Why does that moon shine so bright? Where does that come from? Yeah, it's a reflection from the sun, apparently. There you go. I didn't know that. And there's a lot of things I don't know. I remember saying to one guy who was so awful to me, and I said, excuse me, I said, do you know how to do an inverted bob? Have you ever tried to do an inverted bob as a hairdresser? And he went, what are you talking about? I said, do you know how to cut a hairstyle as an inverted bob or a flat top? Have you any idea of how to do that? And he said, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. I said, I'm just asking a question. Do you know? And he said, no. And I said, Jesus, you don't know? Oh my God, really? You don't know how to do an inverted bob, everybody? He doesn't know how to do an inverted bob. You see, everybody has understanding. Everybody has a lack of understanding, because you can't know everything. But it's when people come across in such a derogatory and nasty and demeaning way that I have an issue with. And because, you know, the most simplest of things some people don't know. And, you know, if we all understand that, if we grasp that, then we wouldn't be so quick to judge somebody thinking that they're thick. And you know, the worst case that I have found on social media is when you make a mistake with your spelling. And I see it so many times. And when I used to post certain things, people used to say, you know what, what did they used to say? They used to say, well, I would take you serious if you knew how to spell. Seriously? Wow. How condescending and awful is that? And that's how some people behave. So you can judge somebody by a good teacher by their way they come back at you with an answer. And I think, so for me, I've learned the hard way, because, you know, when I was growing up, I realised that I couldn't read properly, and the words were I was always in front. So I was told then you've got something called dyslexia. And I couldn't focus, and I couldn't think about one thing for too long because my mind was off. And I think partly was because I wasn't interested in schoolwork. I wasn't interested in pies. I wasn't interested in all of these things that I kind of knew wouldn't make a difference in my life because I would never use it. However, I was interested in certain things that I remember back now, which is Rasputin. I know all about him. I learned all about Mao Zedong. I learned because I was interested. So, you know, I think we're all different energies. We all enjoy this and we find that boring, and one person would find that boring, one person would find that exciting. And that's the beautiful thing about life and us as individuals. And it would be so boring. We'd all be robots, right, if we all liked the same thing. And that's why I love meeting people. I love sitting and having a coffee with Frank in the morning here. And he's a doctor, and he shares stuff with you, and he blows me away with his information. And he's a doctor, and you'd think, but Mark, you don't like doctors. No, it's not that I don't like doctors. It's just that there's certain things that I don't feel are correct. I don't feel giving people headache tablets all the time is good for you. Depressants all the time. I don't think it's good to have vaccines all the time. I don't think it's good, because I think our body is a beautiful, powerful healer in itself, and we've sabotaged that, we've hijacked it, and we believe that it isn't. Now we believe that, oh, if there's something wrong with us, we need to run to the doctors. And, me and Frank have discussions about this all the time. And when it boils down to it, he actually believes what I believe. And he said, you know what, Mark, it's true. We too freely give tablets, too freely use, people as guinea pigs to see if and I think, well, at least he's being honest, at least he's telling the truth. And we sit and we talk and we have our discussions and we have our little arguments and we have our disagreements, and but we're always going to be friends, because at the bottom line is we're all learning, we all have our jobs, we all do what we do. So I find it fascinating that when I make these videos, there's a certain amount of people who are so derogatory with their answers or their comeback or what 99% of you guys are beautiful, because even though you sometimes don't agree, which is fine, I like that, and I learn from that, because you'll say, you know what, Mark, I understand what you're saying, and this is what I understand, and I'll read it and I'll go, wow, you're bloody right. You see, why can't that be so lovely in all of us? Why can't you share your knowledge in a way that makes me want to say, wow, you're right? Why are you so condescending and so negative and always look at the worst things? So I would ask you, you are in that box if you are always trying to prove yourself as somebody better than somebody else, that you sit with ego more than anybody else, because most people don't use that. In general, 99% of people share information in a loving, kind way. And if you ever come here to the academy, I sit with scientists, I sit with doctors, I sit with people with PhDs who come to learn, and these people have got more intelligence in their finger than I have in my whole self. But when they're sat here, they know that they're learning something that they don't know about, and they're listening to me, and I'm sharing it with love. I'm not being condescending. I'm not telling them that they're an idiot. I'm not saying, well, you've got all that wrong, mate. You just don't know what you're talking about. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. To share your knowledge and what you've learned, especially if it's knowledge that you've experienced hands-on. When you're sharing information that you've learned secondhand from somebody else, my friend, let me tell you, that doesn't sit with me at all. It means nothing, because anybody can say anything. Anybody can write a book. Anybody can preach. But the truth, when you're sharing your teachings, is when you actually have sat down and worked for hours upon hours upon hours with clients who are situations. They're the people that I listen to, because that's first-hand knowledge, not that you've read from somebody else's book. And most people who come out with this condescending, very belittling way are the ones who have never got up off their bum and never actually interacted properly and done anything. Because, they're the ones who scream and shout most of all. And I'll give you another for instance. This is a real interesting topic to me. Whenever I talk about a certain subject and somebody comes in and starts screaming and shouting, right? Somebody underneath will post their message, and their message will say, yes, my sister or my son or my daughter went through this and it was very tragic, but I can understand how you feel and da-da-da. And I think, wow, this is coming from somebody that I've been speaking about a certain subject, that they've experienced it, and if anybody should get upset, it would be them, but they don't. They're the most kindest, loving, understanding people because they've experienced it. The ones who scream and shout with this mouth and have a go are the ones who don't even know what they're talking about and never experienced it. So I find it fascinating when I talk about cancer, when I talk about healing, when I talk about spirituality. The ones with the mouth, the ones who are screaming the loudest, are the ones who really have no knowledge about anything. So it always makes me giggle when I see a statement from somebody that I think, wow, it really shows where they are in their life, and they don't really truly understand, because they wouldn't be like that. And I often say to people, have you ever seen a professional boxer walk into a bar and beat everybody up? No, you haven't. And the reason why you don't see that is because he's trained every day. He's worked very hard all his life, and he knows when he needs to speak and when he needs to do his work. And that is never in a bar, because that's wasted energy. So the truth is, when people are wasting their energy jumping into a bar saying, I'm the toughest, I'm gonna this, I'm better than you, I know this, you know that they don't know anything. Actually, they're trying to prove to themselves and trying to prove to everybody else. But the real truth about knowledge, the real truth about people who are teachers, and the real truth about real pure guides are the ones who never ever mock, never get upset, never get angry, never tell people what to do and what they should do and that they're idiots. Because really, the ones who do that are all of the above. So it is a great topic, and it's one that we should all take notice of. And if you implement that into your life, and always remember that, you will never knee-jerk to these people. You will never fight back, because you're fighting back with somebody who has no knowledge at all. Because if they did, they would never ever talk to you or write on social media in that way. Okay? So, coffee morning, chocolate morning, and now I'm about to work on my oils, which I've been working for many, many years now. There's 3 jars there. I'm just about to work on them now, so I'm looking forward to that. And that's it really, guys. It's been a beautiful day, and maybe the next video I'll take you through the process of how I started 14 years ago with these oils, and how I first got a tiny bottle of oil which was over 50 years old from a dear friend at one point in my life who was a Wiccan high priestess, and then it all snowballed to these 3 beautiful bottles, as you can see behind me, that I work on. And yeah, I'll take you through it and show you the amazingness of the oil and how to work with them. Perhaps, maybe not. Let's see how we go. But today, I hope you understand this little bit of a gobbledygook that we talk about, how important it is when you receive knowledge, when you obtain this beautiful information about certain things, that you really need to remember deep within. How you share that knowledge with people shows you who you are, tells you about yourself. So if you laugh at people because they might not know something, that says a lot about you. If you are kind and caring and share your information in a loving way, then you know what, you're in my heart. You've got a friend for life. And that's what I believe wholeheartedly. Share your truth, your information and your knowledge in the most loving way. And that is the ultimate, in my humble opinion, how you keep friends for life. Eh? I think that's how we're gonna name this video, How to Keep Friends for Life. Eh? Isn't that right, if you think about it? No judgment. No opinions, just your truth in a loving way. If everybody was like that, the world would be a beautiful place, and we would elevate and grow so fast as humanity, you wouldn't believe. Okay guys, lovely day, take care, from my heart to yours. Yeah, from Shiva. Yay! Okay guys, take care, bye.